Ooh. Hello. So we're playing Return to Grace. I know that was not the expected next game. But this is a short one I've been kind of looking to do. Don't know how good it'll be. But I'm interested enough for sure. Okay, there's only audio when we're clicking. Give me just a sec. Yeah, we're playing this one through Game Pass. Chromatic Aberration title already awesome. But this is supposed to be like a short, like 2 maybe to 4 hour story game about you go into like an abandoned base station or plant or something that's populated by kind of broken AI or some shit. I think it's supposed to be kind of light, but mystery. I don't know for sure. Short, giving it a go. Probably won't spend too much time warming up the stream here. Made by Creative Bytes. The idea. I'm gonna turn that repeated button presses, hold. But yeah, I was gonna do Unicorn Overlord, but I'd like to just get into that. I'll spend some time on it. And I mean, I don't know where the time went today. I mean, I guess I played through all the Hellblade 2, but already 10. And it's like, well, I could just try my sleep schedule and just stay up. I think we just do a short game and then I stop, and tomorrow we go hard on it. Alright, let's go ahead and get started and see how this is. Yeah, I did put this as the second walking sim today. Disclaimer, I don't hate walking sims. it just is. I'm afraid this is no different on that front, so let's see if it's better than Hellblade 2. Wouldn't be too hard, honestly, but there you go, Creative Bytes. They've made a couple other games, but none that I've played, I don't think.
Stick's not responding.
Oh, it's loud. I'm just gonna let it rock. We'll change it when we get in game.
Can you take control?
Unless I can pause it. Okay, I got it. I got it. The title screen's pretty quiet.
The storm is interfering with my senses.
Ancient resting place of humanity's
Hold on.
Backed in 10, 9. Oh, there it is.
These voices are super fucking. Okay, it's all really loud. Sorry. I really wish sometimes that title screens would be kind of somewhat close to the rest of the game's volume. Very nice test, so I don't have to destroy the front end of the game, but whatever.
Addie? Addie, please respond.
Everything hurts.
You've been out for nearly an hour.
What's our
Yeah,
status
the
on-
title screen's got
We've crashed.
chromatic aberration. It's beyond us. Just part of the fun, I guess, man.
Got that.
My hull is intact. Thrusters 2
Experience iconography.
and 4 are damaged and will require realignment.
So will my back. Can you let me out?
Yeah, I think the whole game
Not
is
before
full
we
of
talk about
chromatic
your suit.
aberration.
Okay, talk.
I'm
Look
reading
at the green
on
lights.
seals, green on batteries. Thermals are, well, not green, but fine, and you have 5.35 hours of oxygen, maybe 6 if we run the scrubbers hot. But Addie, we've had this discussion before. You won't have enough
Alan,
to...
it's fine. I have a plan.
I'm concerned
That'd be
that...
too
I
much.
have a plan.
Understood.
Now, open the hatch.
The canopy hydraulics are not responding. You'll have to pull the manual release.
Pulled.
Seriously. This stupid piece of junk.
I'm right here.
Ugh.
Yeah. No damage to the suit.
Visibility's terrible.
Christ, you just felt
Any
like
sign of the spire?
2-3 stories. Oh, okay, the way too much sensitivity.
Up anything new?
The audio keeps changing, dude.
Just the original beacon signal. You'll need to use your wayfinder to locate an entry point, if there is one.
All right. Let's figure out where you're at, Grace.
Let's go up here.
You know the beacon could be anything. A lost colony, a relay station.
200 distinct oral histories can't be wrong, Alan. Grace is here.
200 distinct oral histories.
I can't believe
What's up,
this
Outcast?
storm. Where would this have come from?
There is record of ancient terraforming on other moons. I think it's safe to assume that Ganymede is not an exception.
This guy's got a nice little smile, dude. Did you solve your problem, Outcast, or at least feeling better about it, at least?
There's something man-made here. Looks like a weather station, or maybe a seismic station.
It's
The era of
aliens.
that relay from the Dawes
Definitely
Sea.
aliens.
It's at least 700 years old, Alan. There's a little bridge here. There wouldn't be much sense of building this if we weren't within walking distance of the spire.
By all estimates, the beacon is within 400 meters.
This looks climbable.
Hey. Walked up that sheet of ice like it was nothing.
Which way here?
Beacon's this way. It doesn't mean that this works, but worth a shot. Your choices matter.
Oh no!
I think this game does actually have choice,
Yep.
choice-based
There goes
endings and
that
shit.
again.
We'll see.
What happened?
Fell into a stupid fissure. Looking for a new way to reach the spire. Or
This
at least
thing must
someplace
have,
where it'll
like,
be easier to find my body.
Reinforced fucking like armor for impacts or something, dude. She's just falling all over the place. Can't really hear her footstep.
Looks a little tight.
Whoa, squeezable crevice. It's okay, you get one.
It's opened up again.
Hey, awesome. Good.
Surface
Congrats.
temperature
Hope
is
you had fun.
dropping. We can't maintain your thermals much longer.
We're close.
Bet you did.
I can feel it.
I wish I shared your optimism.
Did you guys go get food or anything afterwards, or everybody too tired at that point?
Oh my god. This
Maybe
has
like
to be it.
space and abandoned space stuff or
What are you
isolated
seeing,
space stuff.
I'm looking at what must be the spire superstructure. I can't imagine how something this big has gone undetected for this long.
A 500-year-old storm?
I don't know. Doesn't seem possible.
A little quiet again. I want to make sure her voice is like loud, full enough. Task pushed back. I gotcha. Sounds like a tough one. Cool. What'd you guys have?
I can see an exhaust port that might be low enough to jump to.
This chick's got a huge fucking gonads at the gravity's really low.
Did you make it, Addie?
I'll let you know in 1 sec. I'm in. All right, Grace. Let's find out what you've been up to for the past 900 years.
Yeah, turn it up again. I keep changing it, man. It's like it was like really loud. It's one of those I think when there's action, it's really loud. But I mean, I can barely hear the music. Sound effect. We'll just deal with the audio. We'll have to keep changing it. It's music. Alright.
Hope my light still works. You should see this spooky tunnel I'm in, Alan.
And why would I want that?
Come on, you're not excited?
You crash-landed me in a frozen hellscape and left me for salvage.
10
thought
years
she was
of
gonna
research,
slice.
not to mention 6 months of spaceflight, are about to pay off.
But at what cost?
Don't ruin this for me.
Wonder
Looks
if the
like a bit of a
chipper
labyrinth, but I'm still picking up the signal ahead.
And you can still hear
attitude's
me?
gonna
Loud and clear, buddy.
continue through the whole game, or
These can't be powered.
I guess it depends on what happens.
Must be airflow in the tunnels. I have to say, there's more atmosphere than I was expecting.
Not nearly enough to survive.
It's not been like quit maxing or anything. It's just, I mean, if she's here just
Structure
on
looks to
like
be
a
decent
scavenging
condition.
thing, I
Another
get-
good sign.
she might take it pretty chill.
Everything about this place looks 30th century to me. It's the right era, the right size.
Don't say it, Addy. We've had our hopes dashed before.
Yeah, there seem to be experience. I just have an adverse reaction to quit maxing just for the sake of it. But they seem justifiably casual so far. I mean, it seems a little dangerous, but if they're used.
This one's broken. I think I can crawl through.
Quip. Just quipping. Just quips in general. Try to keep the tone always like
Jeez. That's gotta be a...
light, especially when it's like right after something serious. So you don't feel too uncomfortable, or try to instill some kind of charm in it. Like putting like half-assed jokes everywhere.
over 15
Little
meters.
quips.
And if gravity here is 1/6 of
Like a
that on
Marvel
Earth,
movie
then a
or
15-meter
Uncharted.
fall here
I mean,
would
some of
be
those do it
equivalent to
well,
falling
but-
less than 3 meters at standard G.
Math. It's probably fine.
I could calculate outcome probabilities based on previous drop impacts if you've already jumped, haven't you?
Gosh, I hope this is the right way.
Like snarky. Like shit. This is the first
This
game.
is slick.
Oh,
Addy?
Oh no.
I was gonna say it's one of the first games I've seen where they actually try to go down an incline kind of slow to not just fly down, but
Are
she
you
just
hurt, Addy?
slid down
I'm
anyways.
working on it. The structure is enormous.
She must have like
This
crazy
has to be the
absorption.
Grey Spire, Alan.
And there it is. The perfect setup for disappointment.
I found the beacon. The transmitter is on some sort of console.
It must be part of a control network for the megastructure.
You think we can make a connection here?
Theoretically. If you
Really
run a
wonk
scan,
ass
I can
fucking
attempt to
tech here,
connect.
man.
The interface language is quite old and sophisticated, but we should be able to calibrate your computer to interact. You can use your gyroscope to sync with the terminal. I have the first calibration position. The meter will indicate when you are close. First position is
Let's see.
locked. Second calibration position is up.
For some reason I thought it was the D-pad on the bottom right, but then I see the L.
That's 2, and here's the final position. That's it. We're in. Accessing the network now. Oh,
This is like 70s looking
Shit.
type of tech.
Alan, you there?
60s.
Alan?
Hello?
Ha!
A visitor. Let's have a look.
Where's Alan? Who is this?
Who is this? Who are you? Entering a home without knowing its host.
Are you... Grace?
Good question. I'm not entirely Grace. I'm running on just a small part of her logic processing.
Grace is still here.
And what brings you here?
My name is Adamari Ito. I'm an explorer.
I must apologize, Adamari. It would appear I have lost much of my capacity. I cannot see very far beyond the room we are in.
I've lost connection with my ship's AI.
You won't need Alan here. I can show you around.
Will you be able to let me out of this room?
Of course. But until we are able to restore power to the station, I will require your assistance. There should be a manual
Powerful
winch
flash.
set in the floor at the foot of one of the sliding doors.
This must be it.
Working the winch.
Of course, it's the
will open
last
door.
one I find.
Do you know where Grace has been all this time?
Grace went somewhere?
She's been gone for
Very
hundreds
quiet.
of years.
I am running on a very old server. My memories predate the completion of the Grace Spire.
Grace ushered in humanity's golden age. Peace across the system, booming interplanetary trade, scientific marvels, colonies beyond the orbit of Neptune. And then she was gone, and it all fell apart.
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Well, you're a lot more than an archaeologist usually gets.
The first step to restoring Grace is to bring the Spire's power station back online.
Let's do it.
I'll light the way.
What do I do here?
This is a security panel. I am decrypting the pattern now. Ah, yes. Simple enough. You'll need to light up 9 buttons, forming a square at the center of the panel.
Okay, the 9 buttons in the center.
That is what I said.
If you're not Grace, then what do I call you?
I don't believe there are any
forming a square.
identification strings in my base logic that would suffice.
I'll call you Logic then. For now. Till we have a better idea of who you are. And, you can call me Addie.
I will refer to you as Addie, then, until we have a better idea of who you are.
Okay, I was like, did they just literally mean that? Or like there's a puzzle to it?
So what exactly are you?
Looking at her and shit.
The station's emergency
I was
server
expecting like I had to like draw it, but I could only use like certain ones to like draw it somehow between the
defaulted to
points.
Grace's original
Nice.
logic processing. That's me, as you've suggested. The server can also run a program dedicated to the control of infrastructure.
He's maxing unironically. I mean, it's always kind of a joke. I usually never say it.
And a third system dedicated solely to empathizing
Seriously.
with and understanding humans.
Can't say I've been saying
power is
maxing for
restored,
long enough to really
Grace's
think about
primary
it.
servers should come online,
Usually just
and
a
we
funny
will become
word.
some small part of Grace's consciousness.
This looks like metallic
And is
rock.
there some hidden horrible meaning of maxing I'm missing? Should I not be saying maxing? Grace.
The power station is set into the Spire's foundation stone.
The foundation stone would have been an asteroid, right?
Most certainly. About 50 cubic kilometers,
Oh, is it
from
Zoomer
what I
stuff?
can recall.
Amazing. Most accounts of Grace's origins talk about an asteroid being pulled from the heavens. That makes sense. There wouldn't be any construction resources on Ganymede and nothing to anchor the structure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a funny, ironic word to use for things probably that it was never intended for, but
I can't imagine the effort it would have taken to redirect an asteroid.
sadly
that
it's
big.
tied to some
We don't do
stupid shit,
anything
I'm
like that
sure.
today. Can you open this?
With some difficulty, I will need to direct power from logic to control processing, and I will not function at the same cognitive level until full power is restored.
What do you mean, at the same level?
Good luck, Addy.
Beeps.
You still there?
Where would I have gone?
You sound a little different.
Just stronger. The voice of control resonates through the very walls of the structure. I shall start the turbine after you prime the generators that open the spillway.
Corum.
And this turbine still works?
It worked before, and it will work again. You shall find the generators on the platform at the other side of the room.
Alrighty. What's the crane for?
Go to the 3 generators overlooking the turbine.
Okay. Guess it's time to get walking.
You must prime the generators first.
Makes sense.
Or was maxing first? Use looks maxing? Is that what it was?
So, why do you need me to start these?
Tradition.
Maybe I've only seen it in
A
places I thought it was
time-honored
funny.
failsafe of including human hands in
'Cause
the
you know I'm
operation
probably
of
not
this
fucking
station.
browsing any goofy shit on like TikTok or anything. That's
So,
like a word
do
for
you share
trying to
memories
max
with the
something
logic
that you would
processor?
never actually be trying to
Indeed.
max.
We are all
In
part
like an
of Grace.
exaggerated way is kind of funny.
Aspects of her infinite power. Shadows of what was, and promises of what will be. I was the light that shone in the darkness. I was the hand that divided the firmament.
The firmament.
The turbine has failed us.
That's not good.
I must call upon you to cast out the wicked instrument,
The what?
the broken turbine. You must go to it now.
Alright.
Guessing with the magnet. Some of the soundtrack seems alright in the back. Story's been okay. I mean, I like the idea of like an abandoned station on some planet. Or some explorers trying to find some remnants of some super AI that historical or something. Do they actually want me to like get down there?
Going down. I'm safe to be down here, right?
You shall not be harmed. You must uncouple the safety latches.
That sounds unsafe.
It is not.
The sound effects are extra quiet. Well, they're supposed to be just muted because she's wearing a helmet?
You must now go to the magnetic crane.
You're sure I'll be able to fix this?
If you trust in my
It's
word,
literally unsafe.
yes.
Look, do you trust the AI or not, man? What reason would he have to lie? What reason would this fragmented 1,000-year-old AI
You must
have
first
to lie?
cast out the old turbine.
Police!
Now cast aside the wretched unit. Now you
Yeah,
shall
good
place
thing there's
the
another
new
one right here.
turbine.
I've seen Terminator. Look, but in Terminator 2, Arnie was friendly. More gameplay than Hellblade 2 so far. That's not entirely true,
Everett?
but it sure feels
Hello?
that way.
Everett, is that you?
Whoa, turbine
Grace?
replacing.
Everett.
Hellblade 2 had less gameplay, honestly.
Behold my power.
What's happened?
I am reborn. Humanity will once again flourish in the brightness of my glory.
This isn't right. Our processing has not combined. Grace has not been restored.
I think she was here for a moment. She was calling to someone. Do you know whoever it is?
No. With power restored, my mind is clearer,
Anything else
sharper.
over here?
But I could not tell you whoever it is.
You must leave this place at once. Return to your vessel and spread word of my return. From Sol's fiery core to the icy Kuiper expanse, all must know.
I've hijacked the volume control. I don't feel like this is going to be a short commandment. We'll see how long before he notices.
It took me nearly a year to get here. I want to know if Grace can be brought back.
There is more complex to explore if you head back to the control room through which you entered. We should determine where in the megastructure my central processors are located. Perhaps along the way you may learn more about this Everett.
I forbid you to linger a moment longer.
And he's back.
Like a divine comet, dive from the outer reaches and spread light
Seems
and
like it.
understanding to the inner
Please.
worlds.
I'm not leaving.
And you were showing such promise.
So, are there any accounts as to why Grace was shut down in the first place?
There's no electronic record at all. That would have been lost during the Great Dark Age.
Dark Age?
Much of humanity's record keeping would have been managed by Grace. So, when she went down 900 years ago, so did the ability to
Down.
record what happened. The research that led me here was based on oral histories mostly, and some artifacts we uncovered on Earth and Mars. Relay devices that were once connected to Grace's network.
Then we share an interest in shedding light on this Dark Age. From what I can tell, there is some sort of transit system on the other side of the control room, which should lead you to the other parts of the spire.
We're
I
back.
will illuminate the door leading to this transit system.
Oh god. What shape do I have to draw now? Please don't say penis.
Alas, I require your nimble fingers again.
Alright, what's the pattern?
Another easy one. The Phoenician letter Taw.
Who would know that?
I don't know. Perhaps an archaeologist? How about the Greek letter Chi? The Roman numeral 10?
Okay. Ha! Got it.
This is not the way.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder how many
Grace could have done
games
something.
and depictions of the future they actually do that kind of thing on. I mean, it's possible with access to like old media and literature and shit like that. Maybe language wouldn't change too much. You're learning from ancient shit, but even, I mean, I feel like it would be changed still, right? I mean, it changes even in a few decades now, but I mean, I get why you wouldn't want to do it, because then the game wouldn't make any fucking sense. And what I don't like is usually when they just insert one slang word in place of like a normal slang word we'd use. Like instead of a curse word, they say bolts or some shit. That's always annoying. I think you can kind of make them seem still kind of futuristic while not feeling like odd by like not putting in like memes or stuff that's clearly going to be like very temporary slang nowadays. Like also you could just give them like a certain kind of like culture or personality. Maybe they're very proper, right? I mean, stuff like technobabble is definitely a way that they try to sound like futuristic. There's a way to like make sure the suspension of disbelief is in place, but Sparks, snuff it.
To cause humans to turn on her.
Preem.
Like what?
Like becoming too overbearing?
That's a cyberpunk.
Humans would have been given no reason to
Gonk.
question my
I don't
bearing.
mind Preem.
It's one of my theories.
Gonk sounds
yes?
fucking stupid as shit though.
This must be the main entrance. I'm guessing the
I don't mind technobabble if it feels like it's not there just for the sake of it. Like if it's like a, you know, they're actually discussing something or has like a point. It's just something I don't know. But rarely in everyday speech, unless you're like probably some fucking science man, are you just gonna rattle off 1,000 proper fucking nouns in a row and science
landing pad is
concepts?
on the other side of the big
There's
doors.
almost no point.
That's correct, Addy. Though the pad appears to be buried under meters
Frick.
of ice.
This looks Olympian or Neo-Egyptian. The triangle must represent the spire.
Instead of like, oh my god, it's like, oh my, insert god of that world. It's fine when it's like by the nine or something, at least it sounds like a little different. But when you just insert like one name out of a fucking like very obvious like English slang
Beautiful,
phrase,
don't you think?
Does it
I
matter
roll
if
my
it's beautiful?
eyes backwards.
That's another way to see it,
Till
sure.
they turn all the way back around.
Is this an airlock?
Yes. The spire beyond this point can be pressurized. I assume your suit has limited oxygen?
I have about 5 hours left.
That's quite a risk you're taking. Were you assuming station life support could be restored?
Well, can it?
I believe so. But for reasons I'll never understand, life support is controlled by empathy processing. I suppose they had to give it something to do. I will enable that programming now.
Hello, Addie.
Hello. So you're going to get oxygen going?
The process has already begun, my friend. No rush. If you let me accompany you along the path ahead, I can balance the environment to your life force as we walk.
Oh, here we go.
Wow. How are these plants still intact?
They must have been
Comfy.
subject to a very sudden drop in temperature while still alive.
What is this place?
Remaining
The comfy
connected to one's
place.
natural world is important for a person's well-being. A fitting starting point for those entering the structure, don't you think? Do you see them, Addie? Life in perfect stillness? The flowers defying the hoarfrost, as you have defied the emptiness of space to arrive here.
I guess.
Feel a little too
Which one
empathetic.
are you?
Pardon me?
Which one of these blooms best embodies your spirit?
Seriously?
It's important I know these things in the balancing of illuminatory ergonomics.
Fancy words do not make this any less idiotic.
Go ahead, Addie. There are no wrong choices.
Which one is you? The cold, hard
By all means, take your time if you need it.
metal of the exit door.
You remember that you're choosing a flower, right?
Can I pick like grass?
Do you recognize any of the objects in this section of the garden? I'd love to know what you think of them. For the calibration process.
I have
handle.
no idea what this is. A weapon or tool of some kind?
It's a device for working metal. Why do you suppose it's in this garden, Addie?
It could be a symbol of hard work.
An industrious future? Or a laborious past, perhaps?
Am I doing this right?
You are doing splendidly.
I'm sorry. This cannot possibly be necessary.
Temperature preferences can vary considerably between individuals. Careful calibration is essential.
How about above freezing and we proceed?
It's really up to Addie. If you don't wish to consider more objects, I can set the temperature within a survivable range, and you can move on to the flower bed next to the stairs.
This looks like Pacific Revival. Part of an archway, maybe. That's a pretty big piece to ship all this way.
So it must be important, even though it's no longer holding up a roof.
I guess its purpose has changed.
As can happen with people, too.
What's the point of this, Addie?
I'm an explorer. I'm here to learn.
Go ahead and choose a bloom, Addie.
But what about the chime? Purple flower because they're rare. Wow, I'm special.
and choose a blue, Maddie.
I like this one.
A wonderful choice. You're driven by curiosity. A search for something truly special has brought you to the Spire.
Yeah, I'm a
I'm
special
making the lighting
snowflake.
adjustments now. Ah, perfect timing. The room is fully compressed, and we can go about setting oxygen levels.
I'll give you a lot
Only
of choices.
old-fashioned. But how about the traditional 21%?
Go ahead and seat yourself at the center of the pergola.
Should have been like a center of the what? Should have given me like a blade of grass as a choice. One of 3 people. Yeah, there's not many personality types. You are
Very
blue,
good.
yellow.
Now, when you're
purple.
ready, you can remove your helmet.
My helmet?
Of course. You can't sample the air I've prepared with it on.
And you're sure it's safe?
Your well-being is the most important thing, Addie. I'm certain it is safe.
Okay.
Now I want you to take a deep breath. A nice, deep breath. Hold it there. 3,
Noxious
2.
gases.
I want you to take a slow, deep breath and hold it until I tell you to release. Deep as you
The
can.
mind
Addie.
control's taking
Hold
hold.
it. 3, 2, 1, and release. Beautiful.
It's
and when
oxygen.
you're ready, another deep breath in. Fill those marvelous lungs. Hold
Creepy.
it. 3, 2, 1, and release. Very good, Addie. Feel all that
Feeling
built-up stress
patronized.
from your long journey here release into the ether. Oh, please,
It's interesting.
shut out any negative energy and take in another life-nurturing
Empathy's
breath.
a little much for me, but gotta keep sucking,
Hold it.
dude.
3, 2, 1, and release. You can let go, Addie. Anytime.
The human record for holding one's breath is 24 minutes and 37 seconds. I've started a pretend timer.
Wonderful.
Even the station has a limited supply of oxygen.
Next, I want you to really open your body by reaching
No,
up
I don't
toward
know.
the
I don't know
sky.
how long. If I want to. It's like a 2-hour game. I spend 30 minutes of it. Fucking sucking oxygen.
Wonderful. How's that feel, Addie?
Kinda nice?
And we're almost done the calibration. For our last exercise, I will ask you to stand up.
Okay.
Now,
I can't move my legs.
once you're
They
centered,
got her.
you can hold your
Turn her
hands in a
into a
relaxed
fucking burger
position in
patty.
front of you. Now transfer your weight onto one foot. I want you to hold that for 10 seconds.
Okay.
What could this possibly have to do with oxygen levels?
It's about balancing.
Literal balancing? Unbelievable.
Almost there. 3, 2, 1. And that's 10 seconds. Excellent, Addie. We've done great work
These
here
are
today.
future space.
I've made note of
Space
these settings
shoots.
for the other parts of the
Space
station.
boots.
So we can move to the transit system now?
The door out is just up the stairs past the flowers.
She fell from like 50 stories to the ground and was fine.
This statue could be outer colonial. It's simple, but it's quite
It's
beautiful.
a
I
cat.
guess.
And why would its beauty matter?
People like pretty things.
A human truth spanning thousands of years. You're not a planner, are you?
I've been told that.
What the? Not a planner. Bitch.
I'll do my best to get the oxygen mix just right in the rest of the station.
Empathize
Just let me
that,
know
you
if anything is
fucking
not quite
bitch.
working for you.
You don't suspect Grace was shut down in a human conflict?
Maybe. Or you were abandoned over time.
Abandoned?
We've walked away from a lot of great things. Very cool.
These tracks move transport pods to other levels of this complex.
Let's see if we can get this thing working. You wouldn't build a system like this if you didn't need to move a lot of people.
We'll see if they
which
get a
bodes
human
well
body.
for finding something cool at the other end. This must be the transit control room.
Nothing
Looks
yet.
like people worked here. No power?
There is no current running to this console. Control will be required to reroute power.
And you defied my wishes to tell the solar system of my return.
I'm just looking for answers, boss.
I am the only answer.
Control? Fine. Where's the electrical access for the room?
To the left of the rear door. But as I said, you will need control to reroute power to the console.
This era of electronics is dead simple. Won't hurt to take a look. This looks like a welder's jetpack. It's been disassembled for some reason. This one looks to be in working order.
We'll take it.
This should show the power status of the room's various
Is this
systems.
60s or 70s aesthetic for this tech, man?
Well, nothing in the room is on standby.
As I'd said,
I'm gonna have to look at the breakers. My dad worked on older machines for a living. They're not predictable things. They have quirks.
I sense
60s
that there is
Star Trek.
joy in this work for Addie.
well, I can tell you there is no joy running to any of those breakers.
Sometimes a good whack will knock something into place.
It's worth a try.
Well, there's your problem right there.
This is the second game in a row we've had a bunch of voices in our head too today. But yeah, we'll see if this is in our head. Seems like it's just the AI fragmented, but
Remove the entire power relay.
As I told you,
So why can't Control help us?
wants
Isn't he
the
programmed to
character
serve
actually
humans?
be a robot.
He's more accustomed to tasks like maintaining power grids across entire planets, while I'm very much attuned to the needs of individuals.
Seems a
What
bit
about
more
you,
chill
Logic?
than Somo.
I apparently offer wisdom to
But
the
yeah.
wind.
You activated Control and Empathy.
For all the good that
Lone
does.
person in
Is
an
there another
odd abandoned
configuration we can call
station.
on?
Grace's core processors
This
contain
one.
only these 3 systems.
Can you combine the systems? Take the edge off Control with a little empathy?
I suppose it's possible, but there's no telling what the outcome of something like that would
Kill
be.
them by
Could be any
combining them.
worse than Control?
It can always be worse.
It sounds like a wonderful idea, Addie.
You're right. What do I know? Don't blame me if he turns out to be a murderer.
Addie?
Yep, it's me.
Great. What are we doing again?
We're powering up pods.
So, you want to hotwire this thing?
Yes, please.
All right. Rerouting is good to go. You can meet me at the breaker panel. Go ahead and flip the switches.
You got it, pal.
And I'm Pal?
Sure. We'll call you pal.
Breakers look
Did
good.
they kill
Now you
Control?
can push the buttons that turn on the different systems.
They murdered him?
Power's up. I'll let you do the honors. Go ahead. Push the
Here
throttle
we
on.
go.
Oh, that's not good. I'm so sorry, Addie. I thought I would have enough power to do this for you. It seems so important for you to ride in a pod.
I think the track is just jammed with ice.
Ice? You'd think I would be able to handle a little ice.
It's okay. Is there some kind of de-icing system or something?
I don't know.
There is not.
All right, let's look for something to deal with the ice.
No de-icing on an ice planet?
This could be promising.
Well, maybe the
Would it be
storm is
heavy
not
enough to
always here.
smash the ice?
Maybe. But I'm more interested in what that welding gun
Original
might do
Star
with
Trek?
ice.
That's fun.
All right, pal.
Old
Let's
school.
try this one on for size.
Aesthetics.
So, what's it gonna do exactly?
Oh, I think you're gonna like it. This is a welder. See if it still works.
Look at that. A little blue light.
That's not gonna cut it. Are you able to control this?
For you, I could definitely try.
Can you open the fuel throttle to the torch?
Okay. Whoa. I like that. What is it?
That's called an icebreaker, pal. Any idea where the flight controls are?
Someone removed them.
Okay.
I can take control if you like.
You know
Hey,
how to fly
pal.
this?
Looks pretty easy. Stuff shoots out the back and you get thrown up in the air.
Definitely got the curious kid thing
Oh,
going on.
okay.
Oh my gosh, it's working. We can fly.
Easy, pal.
OMG.
Where do you want to go?
Alright. If you can move me to the pod, we can have a look at the ice. And, pal, it's super important that you don't cut the engines or move too fast. I don't want to get hurt.
I know, but it's great, isn't it?
Yep. As long as you don't kill me.
Let me shoot the ice.
This should be close enough.
It's so bright and warm.
Just hold me steady.
This is really hard.
This kid's cheesy as fuck, man.
Ugh, it's these stupid flames are throwing me around.
Holy.
Ugh,
I think that's good. Let's have a look at the rest of the track.
you got it.
Oh, man.
As long as you're not
Hot,
using the
cold
fire
woman.
shooter, flying is pretty easy.
Just keep it up, literally. There's more ice here on the right.
This is some pretty hot flame to, like, insta-jib this ice.
Oh, hold it steady.
Sorry. Ugh.
Short bursts, Addie. He's really struggling.
Oh, empathy's still there.
This is awful.
You're quite sadistic, aren't you, Addie?
Yeah, I don't feel empathy. Non-living
Keep
things. You're my tools.
And this last bit here. Now you've got the hang of it.
This is so cool. It's like the best day of my life.
Well, I'm afraid we're almost done.
First day of your life, bro.
I think that's it. Do you think you can get me back?
Yeah, I know. You got stuff to do.
That's fun, pal. We make a good team, right?
Yeah, I like the part where we burn the ice while flying.
Me too. Okay,
Shut
I'm gonna
the
bring down the
fuck
pod.
up, man. Give me my damn pod. Why do I need a pod again if we had a jetpack? Where does this pod go? Guess the jetpack wasn't good enough.
So,
Ooh,
where are we
bugs.
heading again?
I will be able to obtain structure schematics once we reach the next level.
You think we'll
do
see
you
any
think they
dead
do?
bodies?
Hope so.
Why do you think there's this many buttons in a fucking pod?
Do you know if the pod system has stops along the way?
It does not.
This is
We
a
are arriving
pretty
at the track terminus
long
now.
pod. Decent variety of locations so far.
This looks like a settlement.
Which is cool.
Can't believe how well preserved it is.
You think people could be alive in there?
You should
No.
really consider thinking before you speak. And then consider not speaking.
Just
Logic.
the eye of the storm.
As long as life
too.
support is functional, it's not entirely impossible that someone's taken up here.
Or they could be zombies.
Well, that settles it. I'll disable PAL now.
Yeah,
Don't
he's right.
dare. We might need him.
I hope it's zombies.
Ooh, more buttons.
You really are unburdened by intellect, aren't you?
What's the pattern here?
It's the Latin zes.
Huh?
And I thought you were getting the hang of these. Very well. You might call it a backwards Z or Z. And you'll need to make it the full width and height of the panel. Just having PAL running in the background is making us all a little stupider. If we did switch PAL off, I could always switch him back if we need to burn something.
There.
High tech. Oh shit, laser room. Gotta get cut into fucking
I've been
giblets.
thinking about why anyone would want Grace to be shut down. And I wonder if there could have been a flaw in her base
Nice five.
programming.
Like what?
Control and empathy programming divert
Maybe we
valuable
overly
processing
relied on
power
her.
away from cognitive ability.
Which way am I going?
The big colorful doors. As I was saying, empathy interferes with practical decision-making. Control is a 4-year-old.
You are a 4-year-old.
Please stop. It says Keeper Rosaline.
She looks like a keeper.
She's pretty.
What do you suppose a keeper is?
It must have been a revered title if a statue was made for her.
Huh. Spire caretaker, maybe.
The logic saying she looks like a keeper. The logic AI thinks something's hot. Or did she look like a person who
The
keeps
settlement
things?
is through the large doors behind you.
Full of grace.
The key to restoring
Oh.
Grace may be about understanding her potential flaws.
Are you going to tell me the pattern?
You think we're flaws?
Having a few flaws is perfectly alright.
Logic sounds jealous to me.
Jealous? Of what? You can't even open doors without me.
Where are you going with this?
We'll talk again once you can tell me who Everett is. Figure that out, and I'll grant you access to the main elevator.
Grant me access? Logic. Seriously?
She has no way to do things without your help. It must be frustrating for her.
Could we create another hybrid? Logic and empathy?
Yeah. Like how you made me. I could give it a try.
Stop, stop, stop. You'll
Adorable.
burn the place down. I
They're
want-
just talking about why humanity would have abandoned Grace or not used her anymore, or what happened. And now we're having to find out who Everett is so we
Run a
get through
logic and
the
empathy
door.
configuration as long as you promise never to allow Pal here to do any reconfiguring of our processing.
Deal.
I don't think that smart lady likes me very much.
Hello, Addie. Where do you want to start?
Can we start with the security door to the settlement elevator?
They are encrypted. It would take me days to work out the pattern.
Is there any other way into the settlement?
There is a room off to the side that does not have an encrypted entry. Perhaps we'll find something helpful there.
So you can open these ones?
They have simple passcodes. I can retrieve and play back for you. You will need to enter the sequence manually.
Shag? Carpeting? Not quite. I want shag carpeting on the space station.
This looks like another control room.
Let's see what this is. Nothing about the new config. That's sultry.
These are databanks?
Yes, they contain flight records to and from the Spire.
Anything interesting about the records?
The bookings seem to be coming from internal servers, meaning the trip
I guess
planning
it's supposed to be
coordination is
logic
all done
and
here.
empathy combined.
Where
so
are people traveling from?
bit of
Everywhere.
uptightness.
Destinations seem very evenly distributed throughout the solar system.
Maybe it's just an exposition
Do you know what
machine.
this is?
It appears to be some sort of interface from which humans can track activity
They
within
use
the
tapes
Spire.
in the future.
Elements of
with
the
wood
interface
paneling.
are missing. I'm not sure I
Bring
can
back
access
wood
it.
paneling, even faux wood
I
paneling.
think my comm device can be calibrated to connect.
Of course, yes. Let's give that a try. There are records here of people who have occupied the rooms over the years.
Do we know the Spire's capacity?
50 units.
Never say never. I won't. But I
You
want to
got it.
believe in the wood
There are
panel
millions of
feature.
names here.
Millions.
There it is.
If a million people cycled through here, no one could have lived here that long.
A few weeks at most.
I do
by
make
my
sure to have
estimate.
conversations going while you're doing the busy work. Kinda cute.
Okay, I found record of an Everett who
You'll
stayed on
interrupt
the
it
third floor.
sometimes, but
Unlike other visitors, there is no record of him leaving
it's also
the
constant
Spire.
talking, so.
So, Everett was a worker, or
Yeah,
a
2
colonist
weeks.
who
We'll
lived
try to
here.
watch what we can
Is that
of
enough
it.
for you, Logic?
We'll see.
Hardly.
It does nothing to explain why Grace would be calling to him.
So I'll need to find a way up to the 3rd floor.
Perhaps we can find one on the Spire map across from the console.
Looks like the image from the Spire entrance. All
I mean, you
right.
do have to wait for
What are we looking
dialogue
for?
to finish quite
Grace
often,
processors
but
are located at the
I
top
get
of
it.
the structure, as might be expected. There is also a massive
The
radio
pyramid.
beacon.
The beacon is the key, Addy. You must go now to activate the beacon to call the masses back to the Spire.
Just a few minutes ago, you wanted me to leave on my ship.
The beacon is the answer. It has always been the answer.
Okay. Can you get me to the beacon then? Control?
Control will not be able to override security.
Then we need to learn more about Everett.
Here's the room where Everett once stayed.
Ooh, maybe we can see it from the balcony.
Possibly, but I don't see a viable route to get there.
I can see apartments.
Those are on level 2.
Well, if we can get to that balcony, maybe we can find a way to level 3. I can climb this.
I suppose.
I don't see many other options.
impressive climbing. And a spacesuit. These must be very flexible spaces.
It's pretty much a straight shot across. Looks sturdy enough.
Even in low G, a fall could result in an injury.
I've already fallen a few times from this height.
Just slide along
Careful,
it.
Addy. If you broke a leg, how would you get back to your ship?
You sound like my mom.
How the hell would you ever walk?
Whoa.
Addy! Addy!
I pressed
Are you
left to
okay?
see if I could fall and it
I'm
worked.
fine, but you can't be yelling things while I'm trying to cross.
Or was that on purpose?
So,
Maybe
you're
I just
going to try
happened to
again? After that?
line up
You
right at the
nearly broke
perfect
your
time.
neck, Addy.
Yep, you're totally my mom.
Falling's kind of fun. It's like really short flying.
Shut up, you brat.
Please, be careful.
This is so cool.
Quiet, please.
They
Just
renamed her to
concentrate
Mom.
on your breathing.
Yikes.
This is so exciting.
Oh, I think it was on purpose.
Breathe, Addy.
Because now there's like a whole steady section.
Very good. Now keep walking forward.
I can't watch.
Yeah, let's go back to having just the one AI at the beginning, dude.
I knew you could do it.
You should really try running across next time.
I'm hoping there won't be a next time.
Oh,
It'd
she
be
is
faster,
gonna
too.
have schizophrenia by the end of this shit.
Looks pretty empty.
Yeah.
Maybe the rooms were for short work
The
contracts.
voices.
2-week work contracts?
It was fat emote, dude. Relevant emote. That'll take 10 years too long to post. I'm finding it manually. It'll be quicker to grab my keyboard, I think, and type in voices. There it is. Well, Insane Cat's good too.
Or were
Both
people
good
just visiting the
choices.
Spire? Some weird little lavatory.
You
They've changed
shit
much over the years.
in here and
Eh, not
shower?
really. I've seen weirder. I've seen ones where people sat on ceramic bowls of water.
If they pooped in the water, what did they drink?
Whoa, it's a Demolition Man reference. Do you get it? Do you see it? Did not expect to see a Demolition Man reference in this.
Well, check out the
Jesus.
rooms, I guess. Look for a way to the next level.
You still don't know who Everett is, do you?
Demolition Man, they wipe their ass or something with the 3 seashells. They never explain it. The joke. That's the future.
This must lead
And
to
then
an
Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone start shooting each other and everybody around
It
them.
does,
And it's
but it's
awesome.
another encrypted lock.
They unthaw Wesley Snipes and
I light up the
Stallone.
pattern for you.
Oop, I didn't look.
Try again.
Yeah, there's 3 seashells out in there.
Another empty bedroom.
It's kind of a cool aesthetic having the 60s sci-fi going on. That's the earliest I know it from Demolition Man.
This looks like a shrine.
To
Yeah, the
honor
3
graves.
seashells and
That looks like her
the
symbol.
fast food wars. Always shit you might
I
have
don't
heard
see a
from
way out.
Demolition Man. Other than just like random fun quotes from Wesley Snipes and shit. And Stallone. It's a fun movie. Not like my favorite action movie, but we've watched it a few times in the Discord. Ripper and I.
Here's the code.
Not much here either.
I don't know why she's looking
Here
at
we
her arm
go.
when the AI aren't talking. I think she's just obsessed. Or maybe humans in the future's arms just rest it like this. They're used to being on their phones, their wrist phones.
We still have one level to go.
And our arms have
Hey,
permanently
There's another
changed.
beam here. I think it's a shortcut.
It is more direct, but I wouldn't advise it. You're better off finding a way through the apartments.
Does this like change my personality that they're gauging? It's gonna change the ending depending on how I do this. Right, yeah. I mean, I get why they do it. It's just funny that she's
Another way
always
up.
got her arm up. And they didn't want to have the kind of sci-fi
Maybe
where
this
I
was
guess
left
you
here
had
as a
a
token.
heads-up
Or
display.
an offering?
In Demolition Man, if you curse, you get fined. They don't have sex anymore. It's like some kind of VR connection they have or some shit. Who knows, maybe it's gonna come true.
This is level 3, Addie.
No more cursing.
Let's look for evidence of Everett.
Right, it's just for the game. It's just like anything. Games that, like, you know, you're not gonna have like your gun just sitting like up near your eyesight, right? It's just gonna be like down below or ready it up or some shit. Right?
What's the code?
Of course.
There we go. Hey, what happened to the lights?
I believe Control has turned them off, Addie.
Not cool, boss. Control? Unbelievable. Any way of knowing if this was Everett's room?
The records only give the level. We'll just have to look around.
What are these?
From what I can tell, they're audio recordings.
Of what, I wonder?
We would require a playback device to learn more. There may be a way to access the recording through your wrist communicator with the aid of a signal amplifier. But that would only be possible
Right,
by
of course.
adding an element of control to my
It's just combining empathy and logic. I think it's just supposed to be a generic concerned helper.
logic processing capabilities.
They just combine them to make new ones. They don't remove the old ones.
So you need to create a control and logic configuration.
Like a little brother?
Well, it's the only combination left. May as well, Mom.
All right. Here we go.
Hello?
Maybe he's sleeping.
So you require a tool upgrade.
It's a boy.
We were hoping you could set up my comm device to help play back recordings.
Already done. Just hold your device up to the canister. You will be able to access the recording the same way you've been connecting to other systems.
Okay.
Hello, Grace. I've thought much about what I'd say when I got here. I know it's important for my parents that I make my wish count. So,
Wish.
I guess I wish for them to be proud of me. Thank you, Grace.
People came here to make
Too
wishes?
late for that.
For Grace to grant?
I'm unclear how she would go about granting the wishes of so many visitors.
All right.
Make a wish.
I've been instructed by Grace to make a wish. Not something big and altruistic, not for someone else, but for me. A real, honest wish, my heart's true desire.
I
Honestly,
wish Grace was dead.
this long flight to the middle of nowhere, months without my family, missing the harvest with a per diem that barely covers expenses, for what? Some mystical song and dance that makes us feel like we're somehow part of this robot theocracy. This whole thing, the temple, the hushed tones, the awe that people seem to show this place is ridiculous. My honest wish is to be left alone long enough to actually make some headway on the farm and pull in a decent crop.
It doesn't sound like everyone was happy to come here.
For Grace to understand what made people unhappy was just as important as knowing what made them content.
Look how beat up this is.
It must have been done in anger.
I believe fear also played a part here.
Fear of the robot theocracy.
Zombies.
So, what should we call the new config?
I do not require a name.
Might make it easier if you had one.
I will let you know if a suitable name occurs to me.
I'll try to think of some too.
Here you go.
I am able to enter the codes directly if you would like.
Let her do it on her own, if she wants.
That's it.
No, let's just have him do it. I don't need to play Simon Says forever.
Let's try this one.
This is Mark Anthony Wong, and I was called to Grace from our station Phoenix. Not sure if anyone will hear this, but the whole tube system is shut down right now. People are not happy, and I'm getting a little scared, to be honest. I'll be locking myself in until the shuttle returns, and I'm leaving this in case something really bad happens.
That's a little ominous.
I'm here, Grace. Najisha, she was so excited when I got the summons. We talked about this for months. Who we could help. Who was...
Yeah, it could very well be not what it seems. There's a lot of patronizing from anything with empathy. It might just be the flavor of dialogue, though. It is very kind of like big, wholesome feels kind of shit when it's not trying to be very specifically like logic or
most
something.
deserving. She honestly believed
Which comes
we
across
could
as
come
pretty
up with a wish that
patronizing.
could make everything perfect. Thank you for choosing me,
But yeah, it could be
and thank you for letting me delay coming here.
something else, though.
I want to be true to her memory,
We'll see.
her wishes, her unlimited love for humanity. But my only wish, the only thought I have, is to have her back. I want her back.
There couldn't have actually been anything Grace could have done for her.
Grace allowed her to voice her grief.
People sat or knelt here,
This was a place for meditation.
or contemplating their wishes. That must be Najisha.
Kind of miss some of those. Spacing out a little bit.
Oh, I've got one. We can name him Pal Jr.
Tired.
I was thinking something that sums up what he does.
I mean, I heard
I
what
can
you
do
said.
many things. Pretty much anything you require.
So you're a jack of all trades.
So we could call you Jack.
What do you think of that, Jack?
I will answer to Jack then, if you like.
I'm sure all there's no need for wishes. Yeah. Isn't the desire for people to want something, isn't that? Isn't that what makes us what we are, man?
Aren't you getting a little ahead of yourself?
What? Is a world with no wishes a world with no desire? Or just a world where you don't need extreme desires? Suffering Arsum's wish.
Here you go.
Let's have Jack do
You
it.
can do this one.
Of course.
We can become something other than human. Transcend. Come down, do lots of sound. We like we IO ascending, or we turn it into orange goo together, or we what flavor of ascension are we looking for? Just individuals moving on to another plane of existence.
My wish? Oh, I'll tell you my wish. 10 years ago, we're on Venus at the Big Dome. Huge crowd. Olympia Mons favored 4-1, loses 5-1. 6 years ago, on Earth against South Union, loses 2-1. 2 years ago, South Union again, this time up north. I took the boys 3 months round trip. They go 90 minutes, no score. Extra time, no score. South Union takes it again in penalties. You want my wish, Gracie? The next World Cup is on Mars. I wish that Olympia faces South Union again and destroys them, like Space Me Out the Airlock humiliated. That would be a game. That's
Jesus.
my wish. So how do I end this?
Fucking sports ball,
Olympia's
bro.
still a crap team.
Perhaps Grace was rendered inactive by football hooligans.
Grace likely fostered sports as an alternative outlet for uncontrolled aggression. Of course people would come to her to share their passions.
I think burning this would have been the better move.
Hey, the tube system is no longer accepting wishes. If anyone knows how to reach Keeper Everett, please let him know.
Keeper Everett.
It sounds like keepers were Spire caretakers.
When did Everett stay on this floor?
2955.
That's 20 years before this
The
message was
bouncing
recorded.
games.
So he
Like a
stayed on
little
after his
magnet
visit and
ball or whatever.
became a keeper? Why was there no record of that?
I would think answers lie at the other end of these vacuum tubes.
From what I can tell, the tube system runs through the central elevator shaft.
Logic? You gonna let us in, considering we know Everett was a keeper?
But do you know what a keeper is?
We'll need access to the elevator to learn more.
Ah, a classic paradox.
Logic.
Fine. If you're done snooping around, I will grant you access to the elevator.
Or you could uncover more canisters and learn more about the people who came here.
Reaching the beacon is the priority. You must move on.
You're looking pretty smug.
What's the pattern?
Another easy one. Light the 4 corners of the pad. You really didn't need my help for this one. It would be a common pattern when guessing symbols.
I have to give you something to do, right? Look at all the vacuum tubes. Must be one in every room in the settlement.
Nobody wants
Keepers
to
must have
guess
been
that
busy.
many patterns.
It's It's what Grace does with the wishes that should
The
interest
most common
us.
would be drawing a penis, of course. Damn, you got leather seats and this shit. I like pleather. They'd be really chopping up
Did you like
cows
that
in the
game?
future? Probably
You
not.
mean the game where you refused to help us?
I provided you with the opportunity to prove yourself. Is that not why you're here?
I'm an archaeologist. I'm here to do my job.
I don't think Addie enjoys having obstacles placed in the way of her goals.
We have arrived at our destination.
I don't appreciate people thinking they know what the fuck my goddamn thought process is.
The Spire
I'm
Pilgrims must have
deleting
gathered here.
every personality.
Do you think Grace appeared to them?
Through what means?
I don't know. Seems like the kind of place to make an entrance.
Sure.
People will return here once the beacon is restored. Flock and shepherd will
I
be
feel like when
reunited.
Control talks, all the lights flash. Oh, cute touch.
Must be some sort of pulpit.
A view out over the masses.
The unwashed masses.
Wish canisters.
These have never been used.
For recording wishes, maybe. They look pretty banged up. Where is Grace? Well, I'm not alone in wondering.
I am here. It is the people who are lost.
Where are we going, man?
Pilgrims were building fires. Why would they do that? Quite the manifesto. I don't recognize the language.
I am embarrassed to say I do not recognize it either.
Well, they were here long enough to get bored. It must have been written with charcoal from the fires. The masses found their own way up.
Oh wow, she's gonna actually climb the video game debris. The debris.
Seems to be holding my weight.
Didn't expect that. Nobody climbs the debris.
Looks like people camped out here. Death to Everett. Pretty clear who they blamed. So the keeper must have stood here.
Those recordings
Address the
are
visitors.
empty.
The pulpit would suggest
Unless
he was
one of
giving
these aren't.
sermons. You imagine
Unless
having
they're
the
just
solar
using them as
system coming to you for
weapons or
answers.
what?
The keeper was merely a vessel for the word of grace.
So Grace would receive wishes, and then leave people with instruction in
The
the
ones
form
on
of
the ground
sermons.
before this were empty.
Could
At
that
least.
really be all there was to it?
Ideas are
Not sure on
powerful.
these. We'll see once we're done here.
Perhaps just returning with a more enlightened perspective was enough to move society toward common goals.
Highly unlikely. Grace must have had some control over planetary infrastructure, if she was to have had the influence you suspect.
Yeah, these are just empty ones. There's a few over there. I don't know if they're just throwing them at the walls or what. Let's see about these ones.
This must be an attempted barricade. I'm guessing there was a lengthy siege. So, when Grace shut down,
the
the Pilgrims
bodies.
blamed the Keeper. They demanded to see Grace, or thought they could reactivate her. The Keeper turned off the heat. Pilgrims built fires, dug in. They eventually got restless. Wish canisters started flying. As Pilgrims were breaking through the partition, the Keeper and his followers built up a barricade. We'll have to make our way through the barricade to learn how it ended. Can't make this out.
Would you kindly squeeze through that
2780 to
crevice?
2830. These dates are from the old Julian calendar, which makes them very old.
1,200 years, by all accounts.
Nothing here either. Second barricade. Looks like they got under this one. Do we know where this goes?
To a funicular that leads to the next section of the spire.
Funiculars. Gunky.
Long live Grace.
Apparently not.
Hold on, Addie. The room beyond the airlock is uncompressed. I don't believe it can be sealed. Something must have been
Funiculars,
compromised. You'll want your helmet on.
The tracks ahead lead to the highest point of the spire, known as the lighthouse.
Is that where we'll find Grace's processors?
Obviously.
You need only worry about the beacon, Addie.
Am I gonna make a big choice on whether to bring her back or pull back the peoples?
What happened here?
More rioting?
This doesn't look operational.
Let me try it, Addie.
Okay.
Come on! It's ice again?
The force needed to break through the ice dam would only come from directing all power to control processors.
Which only I can do.
Great.
On one condition.
And what's that?
You shall have no others before me. Cast aside that device on your wrist and continue with me alone.
Whoa, hang on.
No, Addie.
But how will I communicate with you?
Mine is the only voice that resonates freely throughout every aspect of the spire. My words live within the vessel in which you stand now. They reverberate through the very walls of the Enclave above. Through the many devices and instruments at my control.
Yep, I got it. You're everywhere.
What if she needs another configuration for something?
She will not.
Is there another way to get to the top?
Of course. The funicular is merely the most survivable option.
Throw the device from the funicular window to take your place at my side.
I assume this is a choice.
This door leads out into the storm?
To your certain demise, yes.
He's being dramatic. Your death is only marginally likely.
In theory, you could follow the funicular track up the mountain slope to the base of the lighthouse structure.
It would be dangerous.
As nice as it'd be
So
to
I give
throw
up
all
my
these out
options
the
by throwing
window.
away my comm, or take my chances in the storm.
It would be
It's an important decision, to be sure.
shit to be stuck with just
You
him.
must not do this, Addie. In taking this risk, you jeopardize all of humanity. Would you deny them my guidance and protection?
This is what can happen when you make ultimatums.
You and your ilk were distracting Addie from her true purpose.
We are providing Addie with a variety of perspectives.
Throw the voices.
Sorry, boss. I'm keeping my comm device.
You may not live to regret this, but countless billions in the solar system will.
The storm is...
Hello? Must be interference from the storm.
Addie,
Alan?
where are you?
I was right, Alan. I found Grace.
You need to return immediately, Addie. Your oxygen must be dangerously low.
I'm good, Alan.
You need to listen to me.
If I'd listened to you, we wouldn't have made it past Mars.
Wait, did you say Grace is still active?
Not exactly, but I'm working with her oldest servers to try to bring her back online.
Well, one of these servers is actively blocking me.
I can guess which one.
You need to get back.
Alan? Alan!
You're not considering climbing across that structure, are you?
Do I have a choice?
There is also a path that descends into the canyon. It looks well worn and preserved over time, which means it's likely sheltered and safe.
And boring.
The funicular structure looks faster. And more fun.
Don't tease, Addie. The walk will give you time to think. And perhaps a chance for us to talk. What are you
No.
thinking, Addie?
It's the fastest way to the other side.
Or
On
to
a
the
rush,
bottom of the
but
canyon?
no.
I'm with you, Addie.
Damn
Slow and
right,
steady.
kid.
Don't forget to breathe.
Whoa.
I'm gonna pointlessly to risk it all for some
Breathe,
fun.
Addie.
Yeah.
That's it.
When she said, "Oh, we
Well
gotta have a
done.
talk," I immediately wanted to jump on this
Oh, boy.
beam. No.
Through your nose,
No.
out through your mouth. You're in control.
In through your nose, out through your ass. This is how you breathe.
Not sure this was the smartest choice.
Nonsense. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
But what kills you, kills you.
Take it in, Addie. How many humans can say they've climbed across a train track bridge thingy in a lunar ice storm? We only live once, right?
Not sure that applies to you.
Oh, maybe not. But who knows what's going to happen at the end of all this? We gotta enjoy it while it lasts, right?
Sure, but don't be
You're right,
stupid,
pal.
kid. Are they all supposed to be applying different philosophies?
That's
I'm
bit
gonna
of
make a
stretch.
pick by the
You
end of
can
it.
make that. Right, Addie?
Please consider the consequences here.
You're back.
I never left, Addie. I simply can't. And you can't make that jump.
It is unlikely, and a failed attempt would risk grave injury.
Listen to logic. You must turn back and take the canyon path.
But we're so close.
I don't think anybody would normally go back. But I kinda wanna go back just to see what happens.
You're right, Mom.
Gotta know when to fold 'em, kid. Time for the voices.
How do you know where this is headed?
I don't. But it must eventually make its way to the other side of the canyon. Where else would it be leading?
Oh yeah, she could have made it for sure.
It's certainly more
I'm
sheltered.
curious how responsive this
I may
game
not
is
always
to your
approve of your
choices.
choices, but they've gotten you this far.
Thank you, I guess.
Why is it so important that you activate Grace?
It's widely believed that recovering Grace would recover thousands of years of knowledge lost to the Dark Age.
The second art.
This looks like an old colonial language.
That's strange. I don't recognize the dialect.
Translates roughly to Grace is love.
You've come all this way at great
Grace is love, grace is
personal risk in
life.
search of knowledge?
Why not?
Without enough fuel or oxygen to go home.
I'm a committed academic.
What do you really want from Grace?
I'm not sure. This is Martian.
What does it say?
Meaning,
It says,
purpose,
let her rest.
As
fun.
in leave her alone.
People wanted her to go away.
Or didn't want her disturbed. You know, we don't let AI make any important decisions anymore. But most of the decisions that humans make are pretty awful.
You don't think AIs are capable of making bad decisions?
I just hoped Grace might be better. I don't have plans to return because I don't have anything to return to. And I can thank human decisions for that.
This all seems pretty important down here. Because, Goda, this is the secret. There's nowhere else to go. That's how they get you.
Were these to honor Grace, I wonder?
Or to leave one's mark for other travelers to see?
Vanity at its most
Don't
basic.
need to know how
Don't
to
we
go
all
when there's
desire to
nowhere
leave
else to go.
something
The
behind?
ultimate
I'm
play.
surprised a formation like that could remain
Hellblade
standing for so
followed up
long.
as well.
And you weren't familiar with the language on the stone carvings. These must have been left
What's
long
up, son?
after Grace shut down.
Everything
People
is
kept
yellow
coming.
paint, nothing is.
Zealots, maybe.
Or curious explorers like yourself.
Hey, do you think I've been activated before? And hung out with other explorers and did cool stuff with them, but now I don't remember?
That's a pretty deep thought, pal.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
were
they deleted
saying
you
that
like I'm
something
going
happened to
to.
your family that you think an AI could have prevented?
I don't really want to talk about it.
Sorry for prying, Addie.
That's okay. I just want to concentrate on my work here.
No, you don't. You're avoiding it. You're weak. Whoa! What the kind of some good ass boots? Sheer fucking like smooth glass, like not glass, ice, fucking like 45-degree angle.
How much farther?
It's another 50 meters to the base of the lighthouse.
This wasn't so bad then.
You still have to find a way into the lighthouse. So there's still time to regret not taking the free ride to the top.
And what would have been the fun in that?
This is probably a lot more exciting. What if the game just ends
What's
soon
this?
after you throw them off the
Emergency escape ladder.
side?
You could work out the override to bring it down, or see if there's another way up.
So I can bring down the ladder by doing something here.
Of course. You've proven to be clever enough.
The path keeps going. We can see if there's another way in.
So what's it going to be, Addie? Something that challenges your mind? Or something that challenges my respect for you?
The numeric override that lowers the ladder is 50 and can be represented in binary. I can give you the sequence.
I happen to know a bit about ancient computer languages. Turning each switch adds a different fixed value, starting with 1 on the far right and increasing by exponents of 2 as we move from right to left. So I just start mucking around until I get the number 50.
But you needn't muck around. I could just tell you the sequence.
But
No,
that's a
maybe I wanna muck
choice.
Very well. But I'm here if you require my assistance.
Got it.
You're so smart, Addie.
Compared to what?
Why wouldn't you let me help you with the override?
It's only natural to want to do things yourself.
It seems inefficient to make calculations that have already been completed and freely offered.
It's satisfying to do the work sometimes.
No, this place is such a piece of shit. It might be good to know how to operate the machinery yourself. But you ever think about that? Is this fucking AI ever just disappeared like they already have disappeared?
And can be manually opened.
That's convenient. For once.
Dumb fuck.
There.
It's supposed to be Mr. Logic here.
You took a foolish risk, Addie. But you have arrived at the lighthouse nonetheless.
Yes, well done.
And you may still be redeemed with the activation of the beacon.
Always with the beacon.
Yes, always with the beacon.
He's red. That makes him evil. Makes him the bad guy. What
Will I
the-
need my helmet?
It's never a bad idea. Unless you want to preserve your suit oxygen in case of emergency.
The rooms ahead are safely pressurized, Addie. You're good to go.
It's full of poison.
Do we know if your processors are here?
The room directly ahead was the Keeper's living quarters.
Cool.
Grace processors are somewhere above.
Lord direction. This looks like some kind of crazy monastery thing. This is where the monks stay. I guess they are the keepers.
Pretty basic accommodations.
No sacks. No cursing. No impure thoughts.
These must be the cells where the Keeper's acolytes stayed.
And where new ones will return.
Only prayers to your AI overlords.
This looks like it was left for someone to find.
I can hardly believe it has come to this, but my work here with Grace will end. With Grace herself. I can only pray that people will come to forgive us one day. We loved her, and we lost her. She will never be forgotten.
Doesn't sound like the Inner Circle wanted Grace shut down.
But she wanted, maybe. Damn.
Another canister.
The last shuttle leaves in but a few hours. We did what we could to save her. I know she is lost to us for good. Even Everett probably knows that now. But I couldn't compel him to leave. None of us could. I fear he will follow Grace into the dark. Yet, such is the way of a keeper. His fate will forever be tied to Grace.
Everett was trying to save Grace.
Was it self-destruction, or did something else do it?
This door certainly looks important.
Be
How do we get
more
in?
artsy, probably for the
That's curious.
self-destruct.
I have no access to this door, nor do I see any way of opening it.
Feels solid.
There aren't any hidden switches, if that's what you're thinking.
Looks like someone's being selected from a group.
A human sacrifice.
I'm guessing it's the Keeper.
The depiction seems to imply they were chosen from the masses on pilgrimage here.
It's with the finger.
Faithful, vigilant, willing. That sounds so familiar.
The ancient tenets of the human in the loop.
Grace's architects must have been more fearful of losing control over AIs than we are today because they gave them so much responsibility. I mean, it makes sense. Grace was the greatest AI undertaking in human history. Nothing here either.
Well, you're nothing if not predictable.
Just making sure. The triangle here must be the spire, which would represent Grace. And this would be the pilgrims coming to Grace. This is the same symbol that's on the Keeper's door, so I assume it represents the Keeper. This ring here seems to connect the Keeper to Grace.
Curious that the Keeper is situated above Grace. Would you agree, Control?
Coincidence.
The human in the loop again.
Curious.
So, if this is the symbol of the Keeper, I figure only the Keeper was allowed to enter here.
Maybe the Keeper had a key for the door.
As we've been saying, there is no mechanism for a key or any other interface.
Maybe the Keeper was the key. Maybe the door would open for him.
Are you not already the Keeper? You are the only human in the loop here.
Ah, but does Addie qualify based on the 3 tenets?
I would say Addie has proven to be virtuous and faithful.
But I'm not willing?
Are you willing to become the new Keeper?
If it means I'm able to activate Grace. But how would I prove I'm willing?
Maybe you can just tell the door you're the new Keeper.
That's idiotic.
I'm the Keeper?
Ha! Say it like you mean it.
I'm the Keeper.
Congratulations on your new job, Addie.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about it earlier. Is it's like one step away from being like really quippy or something. I've been fine with it. But yeah, well, some of the personalities that start popping in can be a little patronizing or a little wacky, but the idea is it's just a bunch of AI where you fuse different pieces of AI and it creates a different personality. So I guess they want them to be really distinct. The setup's fine though. You're like an adventurer. Nothing to lose, I guess. Comes to this planet looking for the remains of the ancient AI that govern all humanity. Pal. Got the kid thing going on, but obviously he's not an actual kid, so it's kind of this weird feigned kid thing. I'm alright with it. I'm not like ultra gripped by it or anything, but it's neat. Some of the art direction I enjoy. Curious how much the choice is going to matter and if that's going to water down some of the ending, but
Yeah, congrats.
find out.
My god. This is really it. This must be where all the wishes end up. What's this?
A playback device for the wish canisters. It appears wishes from each room could be sorted and consolidated onto master canisters.
Each tube must connect with a room in the settlement.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that works. I think they just wanted to have like a kid one. I mean, control maybe because kids tend to get what they want. Empathy. I don't know. Yeah, they're not like the most empathetic. They might be emotional, but not empathetic always.
Just static.
The recording is too deteriorated for standard playback. You'll need to rebuild the recording with your altered comm device.
Yeah, they feel a touch more like novelties than they are truly like us building up like different pieces of like the human psyche or something into kind of these little compartmentalized AIs, and where we analyze what an AI or human is and make choices based on it. Because some of them are kind of like novelty, like the kid one and shit. I mean, he does bring a unique perspective, I suppose, in that he's a bit more ballsy and impulsive. And obviously, they were hammered it in a little more blatantly when he was talking about, you know, you only live once and all that shit. And enjoy it while you got it. I get where they're going with, where you kind of make different choices and they explore like different philosophies, and I imagine it's gonna pick the ending in a way, or you pick it. But that's cute. But yeah, I mean, they're not always kind of super interesting. The dialogue doesn't always hit, huh? But it's been neat. I do enjoy the art direction though. For a short game, there's some cool vistas here and there. It's neat though. Better than expected. I mean, I wasn't expecting that.
One of the blocks is missing. Looks like it was ripped out.
Chill. We'll see what it has to say by the end of it. They like dabble in like thoughts on, you know, AI controlling people and whether that's right or wrong, and you know, religion and all that stuff with an AI, but it might not get deep enough into it. Good outcast. Good to have anybody.
Where are you going, Addie?
Just looking around. Is this a theremin?
It is a 35th century reproduction of a 29th century Kellogg theremin.
I used to play one as a kid. I hated those lessons. He didn't keep much in the way of personal items.
As keeper, he would have want of nothing.
Can't say I'd feel the same after a few years. Decent-sized bed. You think keepers ever had partners?
Are you considering your prospects? I'd suggest they are not good.
Like I said, no sex.
Is this a lavatory?
It is indeed.
Is this anything special?
It is a light, and there is nothing behind it. Are you looking for secret passageways?
Maybe.
Later, buddy. So what are we up to now? There's something missing from that, but... somebody just needed to replace it, but...
Well, it's been over 30 years since I've made a wish of my own. It's the same one as always. I wish it'd come back to us. I'd also like to wish for your forgiveness, Grace. I know the place above is your domain, and we ought not enter. But I've decided going up there is the only way to get you back, and I have to give it a shot. I won't be sending this wish up with all the others. I'm going to leave it here for anyone else who might come along. And if they do manage to bring you back, they can tell you Everett says hello, and that he truly believed you were a beautiful thing.
So, Everett had a way into the processor room.
That would have been strictly forbidden.
The room is directly above, but I don't detect an obvious way in.
I'm gonna stand
Maybe
here.
he wished himself up there?
If that works, I will gladly shut myself down.
Do it, Addie. Make a wish.
As last resort, pal. You don't suppose Everett crawled in here?
The cavity would be big enough to contain an average human.
There's really no telling what would happen if you rolled that up.
But it has to be the way he got up there. It makes sense.
The space above is the domain of Grace. It is not for you to enter.
What else is there for me to do here?
You can carry out your duty as Keeper of the Spire. On the console, there is a button that will activate a beacon to call the masses back to this place. I have armed the mechanism. You need only push the button. Human hands will usher in a new golden age.
Does anybody go with this guy other than for novelty right away?
This is not allowed, Addie.
I need to know.
Keep your hands inside at all times, Addie.
Anybody gonna activate it? I guess I gotta do it myself. Cool. A little adventure.
There must be millions of wishes stored here. What can you tell me about this place?
Precisely 1 million wishes are contained here.
Oh! And they light up when I speak with my voice.
Can you get me closer to the central column?
Alright.
I do not have the ability to move the structure.
Sorry about this, Mom. I don't think I have many options here. I feel like these are meant to be moving.
That does appear to be the design.
All these wish canisters are connected to us somehow. I think they are us.
The wishes are grouped together to provide the subroutines that make up empathy, logic, and control systems.
It would make sense, wouldn't it, that grace would be made from the hopes and dreams of humanity?
So the random wishes people have is what creates the AI. I feel like it'd be missing a little something. There's gotta be some data there so it can make choices to enact the wishes and shit, right? Alright, we're just going for the touchy-feely AI.
I do not detect any sign of Everett here.
No dead body?
There are no human remains within the confines of this room.
Aw, man.
Sorry,
Maybe he
pal.
made it.
And if there's no body here, where the heck would he have gone? Everett was building something. So what's all this?
It appears Everett has built something into Grace's central
Sorry.
processor.
Do you know what it does?
You would have to turn it on before we begin to understand how it works.
You'll have to prime the machine first.
Do I prime these?
Yes, but it appears that parts of this machine must be activated in a particular order. You'll need to go to the primer that is currently online.
Everett was living here.
The oxygen tanks at his bedside would suggest so.
Restoring Grace must have meant a great deal to him.
This must be the primer.
It is.
God, I see switches out there, man. We're gonna have some, make some traveling happen.
Whoa. What's it doing?
Maybe not.
Obviously, Everett is circumventing the engineering of Grace's system interconnectivity. High voltage is being directed at the centers of Grace's primary systems. This first terminal is directed at empathy processing, and the machine is designed to paralyze each system long enough to force it back into Grace's intended configuration.
There are still 2 other coils to prime.
So it's like knocking us out, then throwing us in a pot where we're melted back together into Grace?
Huh. That is a shockingly fitting analogy.
You're gonna die, son. And I'm gonna be the fucking executioner.
What happened?
One of the empathy relays is not aligned. Something must have happened to it over the years.
Okay.
Look for the misaligned energy beam. Look for the beam that is not aimed at the central platform.
I mean, that one over there is a little sussy. This one seems fine. This one seems fine. How do you want me to confirm it, son?
Do you think it will hurt
No, they just
to
want
be
me to
turned into
jump.
Grace?
Not at all, pal. You'll return to what you were before Addie arrived. After that, we'll become Grace.
What if I don't like being Grace?
It will be different, but who's to say you won't like it?
This doesn't seem safe.
What am I supposed to do here? Can you cut the power?
The machine sequence has been initiated. I don't believe we can shut it down without damaging it.
The voltage would be enough to kill you.
Oh! I might be able to block the power for a few seconds to allow you to get across the beam.
What do you think, Mom?
I know how far you've come, and what this means to you. And I really don't see any other way.
I'll give you enough time to get there, Addie.
You're not gonna talk me out of this, Mom?
I think you already know what you're going to do. I think I need to stay out of your way.
Okay. I'm ready when you are.
Do it. Here I go.
I'd be hauling some ass, man.
How you doing, pal?
So far, so good. Oh! Keep moving, Addie. This is getting hard.
Jesus, is she stupid? Oi, better steady
on,
up.
pal.
You gotta steady on every one of these beams.
You did it, pal. I'm super proud of you.
I did, didn't I?
Yes.
Wow.
Well done.
You're so great, AI guy we just met and created 10 minutes ago. Good work.
Is it safe to touch?
Very likely.
Likely we'll have to do, I guess.
You should be able to direct it toward the conducting rod attached to the room's central column.
Don't accidentally hit the fucking bed and controls. What the fuck?
You should now be able to lock in empathy by closing the switch on Everett's machine.
You were a great friend, Addie. I've never had so much fun before you arrived.
Thanks, pal.
It never
Come to think of
existed.
it, I don't remember anything before you arrived. Maybe next time, we'll get to do more of the really fun stuff.
You mean dangerous stuff? Perhaps there is something you can learn from Addie's caution.
I guess, but then you'll always wonder what you might have missed out on.
There is nothing wrong with valuing a long,
I hope this is a loop.
Do we
Open a
really
fucking
have
loop.
to become Grace? It's the way we were designed, pal. There's nothing to be afraid of.
I'm gonna destroy you, son.
So this will lock in and paralyze empathy?
It will, leaving control, logic, and myself to aid you going forward.
It's unclear what we will be once Grace is formed. But I'm forever grateful that you have survived to see her.
Me too.
Say hi to Grace for me.
I will, pal.
You really are the best, Addie. I think I love you.
Well, that's finally over. We'll be able to hear ourselves think now.
You will need to prime the next sequence, Addie.
Yeah, they're gonna leave the egomaniac to the end. Like, should we put control under control first? We gotta have a spicy finale.
You should not expect any emotional send-off from me.
Still not a fan of empathy?
A fan? No. But I have to admit, you made a compelling case for their use. The fact that you continually resisted the most direct route to your goal would appear to defy logic. But the distractions presented by these emotional configurations yielded some new understandings.
Are you okay with becoming Grace?
It is how we were designed. I would have to be okay with it.
What this time?
One of the logic relays will not power on. You will need to make your way out to the relay.
Which one is it?
The one producing a small electrical fire. Everett was quite the electrician. One thing I do not understand, Addie, is why come all this way without any intention of returning home or surviving on this station for more than 8 hours?
I told this to Mom. There was nothing for me to return to.
Ah, but that does little to explain why you came here.
So she's pretty chill for being on a suicide mission, but maybe she wasn't expecting anything in particular, man. It's a little end-of-life mission.
What's wrong with it?
The relay's
Wasn't she looking for this thing
It will
for a
need to
long
be
fucking
configured to
time?
its hardware ID 113.
This again. This looks complex.
The sequence is on, off, 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 on.
That's it.
Thanks, bud.
You can go lock in logic now.
So why do you think I'm here?
If you will allow me to simulate empathy for a moment. I think you are here because you wanted to be part of something bigger than your life on Earth offered you.
Yeah.
Do you think I've found that?
So far, you've only succeeded in finding things you left behind. Your mum, your pal, your conscience. I now understand that only Grace has the potential to provide you with anything beyond that.
Well, thanks for helping me get this far.
Well, it is, indeed, what we are here for.
Well, this is it.
Just one more step. I hope my assistance has been adequate.
It has. Thank you, Jack.
Farewell, Addie. And for the record, I do hope your 600 million mile, 300-day journey won't be for naught.
Perhaps it's already been worth it.
Why are they locking in these ones first? Just for drama? Feels very, like, kind of contrived.
Just you and me, Control. Still sulking, I see.
I bear witness to the completion of your betrayal.
Ah, he speaks.
I offered you an easy path to the restoration of order in the solar system, and you chose this path instead.
I chose my own path.
You must stop this foolishness, Addie.
Can't blame her for wanting to find out why. To make the best decision.
You must not do this, Addie. Sorry, Addie. I cannot let you do this.
What are you doing?
It's become clear that the restoration of Grace in this manner is entirely unnatural. You must not proceed. Humankind need...
Stop it, Control. You're going to break something.
I'm saving you from Everett's corrupting influence.
He was just trying to bring Grace back.
Oh my god.
I thought you were here to help humankind. You are in short... No!
Yeah, this is what we thought. He had to have a little antagonism moment.
Grace?
Maybe
Yes,
he was
Addie.
right.
You're really bright.
Ah, yes. It's been a while since I've entertained guests.
Do you remember Everett?
I do. He was a wonderful keeper, though I should say I do not keep favorites.
I have a few questions.
You wish to know where I've gone?
I'd like to know that, yes.
Let me show you, Addie. At the center of this room is the Spire's main antenna. If you hold on, I can take you the rest of the way. I was programmed with one purpose, to serve the best interests of humankind. There was much conflict and
Chromatic
division in the solar
aberration
system, and I was designed to
on
listen
roids
and
in this
learn.
game.
All were welcome to teach me, and I am the sum of those teachings.
And then the
Wishes.
furries' wishes
I am the sum of human need.
were added to the pool.
How were you able to lead us?
I could see
And it all
all
ended.
desire, all the potential conflict, all points of compromise throughout the solar system. I sent instructions for all manner of human endeavor through sermons delivered by keepers throughout the ages. And from the smallest ripples of wisdom that was sent from this spire, returned a perpetual wave of good fortune that moved humanity onto a more orderly path.
Wow. Look at that. So, what happened? It sounds like things were perfect.
Ah, yes. Perfect. It was the wishes that led me to think hard about the notion of perfect. Without conflict and struggle, people were losing their desire. They had nothing to overcome, to strive for.
War was good.
You shut yourself down.
I believed I was standing in your way.
So you will be leaving again.
These beacons are meant to call humanity back to me. But whether or not they should is not my choice to make.
Who chooses then?
You, Addie, are the first keeper to grace this spire in the past 1,000.
Okay, if everything's fucked, then she just kind of call her back anyways, just because they need a shot in the ass. I mean, how bad is it out there?
Years. Do you recall that purple bloom you chose in my garden? A unique bloom you spotted in a sea of others. I believe it still suits you. An insatiable curiosity drives you to explore. You are drawn to adventure. You used mind over ladder.
Oh, the things I did.
Are precisely what I'd hoped humans could become again. For a millennium, people from all corners of the solar system had come here to tell me their desires.
You picked the purple flower. You are
So,
the
I put
chosen
it to
one.
you, Addie. Do you wish for me to return?
Oh, you don't even choose. It just happens. Or it doesn't happen. Maybe it depends on the choices you made. I mean, isn't she dead? Let's hope the AI stays here. So you can get some fuel or something. There's no fuel or oxygen to go back, so we're kind of just stuck here otherwise. Conflict isn't needed for humans to not stagnate. Yeah, I mean, a desire and like never being like completely like, I guess, completely okay with the status quo, but I think it, you know, you don't need like extreme amounts, but yeah, that justification that is like, oh yes, war is good, suffering is good, and it's like maybe a bit so that you can, you know, enjoy the good moments, but not war, bro. Not like mass like genocide or something, right? It's kind of a faulty argument.
Small excursion, she said. Follow a couple leads and then back to
I think it's the amount of the amount and the magnitude and
I know
stuff.
I should be more assertive.
Alan just
It's
fuck.
for her safety too. Not that she ever thinks about my safety. All the signs were there at the Wagner site. Let me bake in the Mercury sun for 2 days. Doesn't seem so bad now. She could have at least shut the door behind her.
Poor dude, man. Well, I mean, not having you actually choose it then, I guess, is cute. I mean, in any other game, you'd, you know, instead of leaving it open-ended and you make your own choice in your mind, you just make the choice, but that's whatever. I don't really care that. Yeah, so it was cool. I think sometimes the themes and the philosophy, I don't think they go deep enough. Let some of the thought, like the concepts, breathe. It's kind of surface level at times. You know, hey, maybe you should just have fun, or you know, maybe humans are about the struggle and all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, they're pretty lukewarm, kind of water cooler sort of thoughts. They're not wrong. They're interesting to talk about, but they don't really go much deeper than that. So I like the concept where, you know, you're exploring this place in a post-AI controlled humanity where apparently you don't got much left to live for, and things are kind of fucked, but I don't know if they sold you well enough on that. She's pretty carefree. They don't explain a whole lot of what the world's like, which kind of makes her decisions a little harder to like really get a good feel for, or the decision making just in general. I guess a lot of it's your decisions, because I mean, you know, if it's like humanity's gone or you turn on the AI, it's like it's kind of an obvious choice, right? You just turn it back off later. And the AI is clearly smart enough to make more complicated decisions based on her need and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think it goes deep enough, but it's a cute little idea. The idea of like combining up like different compartments of like an AI and how that could relate to the human thought process and stuff is cute, but a lot of it comes off more as a novelty. Like we were talking earlier, like you combine these two and it creates just like a kid, and it's just more to have like, sure, the kid's, you know, perspective is interesting, but it's not, you don't really analyze the pieces as much as it is just that he is a new personality. So I think there's a little bit more tuning of that kind of stuff, definitely a little bit more time they could have spent with it. I mean, I don't mind a short game, but there's not a lot of time spent with a lot of the concepts. But I enjoyed the art direction and the music and stuff. There was a lot of different variety, this like 60s, like we're saying, Star Trek kind of vibe, but also not just that. There's like a lot of like religious stuff going on, these like monk kind of cells and big cathedrals to the AI and all that stuff. And I think that kind of visual storytelling is interesting. It's like, you know, maybe that's a little too much, or how you start to deify the AI and stuff, you know. They don't really talk about that as much, but you can make your own little thoughts on whether that's, you know, a good idea or not. But that's just kind of as far as it goes with it. So definitely a little bit more depth would have been cool. Maybe a little bit more serious at times coming from her. She's not like a quit machine, but it's close, right? She's definitely very carefree. I was worried it was going to be a lot more quippy when we started hearing her kind of not quite snarky, but or whatever. There's a lot of patronizing kind of like AI. They're sort of annoying, but I guess they're just supposed to be like one was like motherly and the other was just raw empathy. But yeah, the control one, I don't think they made a good case for a lot of the choices, but when you're just choosing which direction to go and stuff, it wasn't too bad. It respects some of the choice and adds little dialogue, but it didn't seem too complicated. Yeah, so like I said, cool visuals. There's enough variety as you went to always keep it interesting. And you know, when the soundtrack did kick in, even though it was a little quiet on the mix side of things, it was cool. You know, I actually noticed it and kind of it added to some of the atmosphere. Like I said, I also just enjoy kind of like some abandoned mysteries, sci-fi locations and stuff. It's always spicy. I definitely expected a bit more cheese from it, so I'm glad it was a little bit more serious. But yeah. Well, what'd you guys think of it? It was about the length I expected. I searched for a little bit more stuff. I mean, clearly you could do a couple more different endings and all that, like hucking the personalities out the window and all that stuff. But I found myself not really invested enough into her personal plight and the state of the world to care that much about like the control side of things, or you know, there's almost kind of like just a Rorschach test on which direction you went, how ballsy you were feeling. So then it was really like a philosophical kind of exploration. So like I said, I don't think all the themes and like the things I explore really kind of connect the dots to something crazy, and I don't think they went deep enough in general. But it was fun enough, and they tended to keep the conversations flowing during the gameplay pretty well. There was a lot of times you had to just kind of wait, but usually because of the length of the game, most conversations kind of had a point. Like there was some goofy stuff here and there, and plenty of little chipper comedy bits, but like I said, while I don't think the point was like super awesome, it wasn't super fleshed out. They at least had something. It wasn't just like random filler combos. That was good if you had to wait for it. But the binary switches were cute. That was you don't see like a lot of see like a few binary puzzles in games, but. And it does equate essentially just brute force, but yeah, it's cute. The gameplay overall was obviously just walking sim with like very light, kind of just low brain activity kind of puzzles and stuff, but they were at a frequency and a variety enough where it was fine enough to kind of keep the exploration going. I think if the visuals were any less varied, or if it was a longer game, it'd be a problem, but it was fine how it was. Right? They knew what they were trying to do and went for it. It wasn't like Hellblade earlier today where, you know, it's a story-focused game that really tries to put way too much shitty gameplay in it. That just doesn't... it's just not interesting, and then it kind of ruins a lot of it. Technological theocracies are interesting to think about. Yeah, like I said, I do wish they was a little bit more thought-provoking and explored it a bit more. Like I said, I feel like it's kind of just skimming the top layer of this philosophical sci-fi soup, but I mean, it was fun enough for what it was. Miss the end, it turned out to be a Jade Grace bad. No, Grace shut herself down because she had a problem with the idea of perfection and the human experience being about the struggle and stuff. It was a little odd because it kind of justifies like war and like genocide and stuff if you think about it and extrapolate it out of it. But the idea is that she was waiting for sort of someone she respected in a way, which is kind of goofy. And maybe that has something to do with your choices to make the choice whether to call everybody back here and take control to try to reach perfection again, or to just let humans play out their more uniquely human experience. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was like a really super powerful AI that understood humans super well. Humans aren't these dreamlike, ethereal things that you just can't grasp. She probably could figure out humans very easily, and she could give them just enough stimuli and maybe even make it so that you don't even know you're being controlled, so that you truly feel like you have like free will and there is a struggle and stuff without truly like causing like full genocides and like world wars and stuff, right? And as you change that, I feel like setting, right, those parameters, the idea of even what war is and what a conflict is would be very different, right? It'd be very small, you know? It's like in Demolition Man or something. We were talking about Demolition Man, where it's like, you know, cursing's like this horrible thing, right? Like, what is conflict and what is like a goal? She could change, she could decide, right, with enough time. So it's one of those things where it's like you could make a world, maybe possibly in this kind of like technological theocracy, where it's like better, and you still have those, like, you could trick people into getting like similar, like wholesome feelings of like progression and stuff, but within like a more contained, better for everybody kind of like package. And it's just, you know, you just could be ignorant to it, or maybe you could trust the system. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's a lot they could dig into here, and it's very just kind of surface level. It's enough to chit chat about on the stream, and like I said, it doesn't like really feign being that much deeper than it is, because it is just 2 hours and kind of focused on these more novelty AI and stuff. But I think if it was a little bit more serious, a little bit more fleshed out, a little bit more going on, I think there's a lot of interesting conversations to have about a post AI controlled like galaxy, human galaxy thing, human civilization. But yeah, it was still cute enough. Like I said, I think if it wasn't like visually very and relatively moved at a decent pace and had a solid enough setup, I maybe had problems with it more, but it was fine. All right. Yeah, I think it's well, I think the idea is that humans, they said, don't make decisions based on AI anymore. But I assume they're like more or less cyberpunked, where a lot of them are like banned, like cyberpunk, like core, like 2077, like core cyberpunk type of shit, where they're like shot out or banned or like a no-no. Although I don't know why they would feel that way about this one when she just shut herself off. It's not like she did something bad where like the humans, I mean, I guess maybe when she turned off, everything went crazy and chaos, so maybe they decided it was that an AI could do that at any moment. They just probably should not have that around. Which is funny, because they asked me at one point why I wanted to solve my own problems, and I don't think the game thought about it, but I was like, well, because it'd be nice to be able to know how to work the machinery myself is like a pretty like valid reason to want to like solve the puzzles on your own. But they go for a much more artsy-fartsy, like sometimes it's about solving things and the struggle on your own. I'm like, oh man, I feel like in this setting there's a good reason why, especially because the AI and the machinery barely works, and they might be very temporal or not temporal, but very temporary, that like you might want to just know how to do it yourself. So. But I think that's something to think about. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, no, yay, nay. How do you guys feel on that front? I'll go in like the dialogue. I didn't mind it too much, and I'm very, like I said, I don't think it was it didn't go deep enough. But I'm usually very sensitive to overly fucking quippy shit. So I thought it was alright if you're there. Go on that front. Like I said, she's maybe a little too carefree. And I definitely think they could have went deeper, but for a short thing. It was okay. I don't know how memorable it would be. Yeah. Like I said, I think there's some cool visuals. I think that's probably some of its strongest points. The like 70s mix of like 60s mix of tech and like big scale, and some of that was cool. But yeah, I just don't know if they dug deep enough. I get they maybe don't want to bog it down, because like if you spend too much time talking, maybe you alienate some player base, but yeah, that's kind of my thing, Akira. But it really just doesn't go deep enough. It tends to be a bit more emotional, and then once you get to her, it's really just like a solid 20 lines of dialogue, and then some stuff you've probably seen a million times about the struggle and shit. I think it's one of those things that's maybe just enough to get you wanting to play or read something with a little bit more thought in it. Maybe not in a video game. That might not be the best place, but not that it couldn't be. But yeah, that's probably something that's probably pretty common in other mediums. Right? But yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, it was okay. Man, that's probably okay. That's probably where I'm at. Yeah, I'd agree with you guys. I don't think I was bored or had like a bad time with it. It just needed an extra layer. I think the charm of the AIs and stuff was not super awesome either. Like if they wanted it to be more of a novelty emotion thing with the AIs. Well, some of them are fun, and I feel like the voice delivery is fine. They didn't really get past, I feel like, their surface level personalities or novelties, probably because of just the time, among other things. Really dig into it a bit. Like the kid would be like, you know, hey, this is his philosophy on how you should live a life, right? And that kind of made him a bit more interesting at times. And like they kind of do that with like Logic, where she's talking about the value of like learning from the other things or whatever, and that's obviously a player choice deal, but they just needed to do that a little bit more. Flesh them out in ways, even if they're supposed to be like naive and simple. It's supposed to make you think and want to do stuff. Like there's a concept of like a very loaded like gun of like philosophies you could dig into, but they just never fire it off. It's just kind of like there. You just appreciate the bullets and then just kind of toss the gun by the end of it. Yeah, I need to look into the rat experiments more. I think I'm forgetting exactly how that went. Or am I thinking of the walled city? I think that's different, right? Or is that it? That was an experiment, right? Or was it? What is this? I'm thinking of something else. I'm mixing it in. Calhoun rat experiment. All of a sudden I'm thinking about that one city too. Calhoun's Rodent Utopia. Okay. I'll just be Calhoun. Active hero study. Kind with a 9 square foot enclosure. Basically take a bunch of rats, put them in a big enclosure, give them unlimited resources, and let them have at it. How did that end? I mean, obviously with rats, they're very different than what drives a human, but not completely, of course. Still need the same things. Something Builder Utopia. I mean, they're driven by just like super base desires. I'm guessing they just kept breeding and become dependent on the food he put in there. They became antisocial and stopped breeding. They became, was that after like enough actual breeding? It's really not right away. Helped to repopulate explosive rates and ultimately fought over space. So, which one is it? Where they do both? Oh, the first few generations. But after that, what did they like? Essentially lose their programming because there was no struggle or some shit. And just did their own deal. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be more. You'd have to look into how rats work, how social rats need to be, and that's by desire or necessity, and it's like that. That survival instinct, like 100% of their fucking programming, essentially. But yeah, it's kind of like that in this, where it's like very surface level, and not really thinking about the complexities and nuance of how that might pertain to like humans and stuff. It's just kind of like just right there. Yeah, it's cute, cute enough. Had fun with it. Let's go ahead and add that to the finish pile while we're talking. What did he feed them anyways? Fed him microplastics, then we can really learn. God damn it. Sure, Corey, I'll read more in a bit. Let me read what else Arsum said here. Cage 100 by 100 inch. It's supposed to hold 4,000 mice full content. I don't know how he calculated that. Each mouse is supposed to occupy. Yeah, I mean, he's probably thinking literally fucking like just how they, I assume, just set. But I mean, every creature needs to move around a little bit generally. Unless it's like just some fucking like barely thinking like fucking creature or something. When did this come out? 30th, 2020. Behavioral sync. Yeah, I mean, who knows with his experiment on how. Oh, he likened his experiment to being really applicable to human nature. He seemed to be very biblical. Honestly, I don't think I buy into a lot of that. It's interesting, but I think it's very different. There's probably similarities still, but there's a lot more going on. It's nice to be able to just put it in a package like that with a quick study, but and I'm not saying that humans are like, you know, some, like I said earlier, none of this ethereal thing that could never be controlled, but I think there's a little bit more you got to do than that. That's what I'm saying is like an AI could, I think, control all of your parameters and situation and environment to a level, maybe even just through ignorance on your own part, where you could still have all of the building blocks and needs that a human desires to live what's seemingly, you know, a fulfilling life, and it could control that stuff, or at least on a level that has pretty high success rate. If it was like this, like some super AI, that has like galactic level of influence and power and reach. That seems to be extremely trained on like the human experience. That it would just be like some SMT law ending where everybody's just like a fucking mindless drone. Or like it's the giver or some shit. Like you're just like some drone who just just mindlessly bows down to the AI or something and has no thought or will, and you just like sit there and you just turn into a vegetable. Like, yeah, that's like an SMT ending, right? Or then you have like the reverse, which is like chaos, which is anarchy or something. Right? And then like the middle ground, more of like a pro-human experience thing. Like, I think there's a lot like kind of missing from the interpretation on the ending on this. I don't even think they really were trying to. I feel like it was like I said, just kind of circle in the drain, kind of. It didn't really go all the way with it, but that's alright. Yeah, that was cute. So tomorrow is going to be more Unicorn Overlord. Probably a day of that. This Haunty game is coming out on Game Pass on the 23rd. That might be a day one release, I'm not sure. Or has that already been out for a bit? I might do a break to do that. We'll see how I'm feeling on Unicorn Overlord, or I might just keep cranking Unicorn Overlord. If this ends up being like horror dog shit, I won't play, but it seems kind of cool. Click. An interesting art style. The game. We'll see how it ends up being. Maybe we'll play that day one. Obviously, 1,000 Year Door is coming out. I'm gonna have them send that to me. Hopefully, they actually send it. And I'm gonna do a dual playthrough. The original. I'm gonna play it through Dolphin. Probably on the original. I could try to set up my GameCube and all that shit, but it'd be a nightmare because I'd have to use my SD capture card, and I don't know how much delay that really introduces into the mix, and then I gotta capture two things through it. Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow. It's on Game Pass, so I'm just gonna do that. Maybe a day or two after it's done, or just tomorrow. We'll see. Tomorrow, as in like actual tomorrow. For me, technically, it's the 22nd, for like 50 minutes. But when I wake up, it'll still be the 22nd. But yeah, I saw you're the only one on my friends list at wish list. But any hooser, I'll be doing that dual playthrough where we're gonna compare the music and room by room, the script, all that stuff, the gameplay, 1,000 Year Door. It would be cool if I could do it with one controller, but I'm gonna just do two controllers at once, so it's gonna be a little stilted, right? I'm gonna control the movement through the rooms, but I'm sure I'll fuck up dodging some shit, and I'm gonna have to take control occasionally to like use powers and stuff. Be a little longer, but we'll try to do a cool little comparison thing. It'll be fun. It'll be different. I want to do it too, so that's something I feel like, probably in editing would be like better, but we're just gonna do it live. I never found a solution to it, but I mean, really, what do I do, right? If it does change like the level design or how the enemies work, it's not gonna work anyways, right? Or timings possibly. It'd be one of those things that'd be just nice room to room, because I'd assume they'd leave it the same, but there's probably going to be a lot of places where it desyncs, so I'd have to be able to swap between it. And it'll just be easier for me to literally just sit here with two controllers and like just play it simultaneously. It'll just be a little semi-challenge thing. Yeah, it's a little harder. I mean, it'd be cool if I could just do it and then like swap to individual ones to control it, but that's essentially what I'm going to do anyways, but with two hands. So. Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door is not a very complicated like movement game, right? I mean, I'm going to have to like, use like the I probably won't use the roll for speed very much, but I could still use Yoshi and shit. Unless they change all the controls on the Switch version, then I might have to do a little stuff with the triggers and the bumpers in the back. I assume they wouldn't. It really shouldn't be too different. I think the fights is where it's probably going to be a little bit more goofy. But you want to do this? Yeah. Take up the speedy spin. Because you had the roll. You had Yoshi and you also had the roll that was really fast. Where you turn into a paper cylinder. But we're not going to use much of the cylinder because you had to do a spin with the right trigger and that's going to be a pain with you. I always just use Yoshi. Or just walk. It'd be cool. We'll probably do... I probably want to do Pit of 100 Trials. I usually don't do that. It takes too long. But we might do a fair amount of the treble board, just to see what they've changed, if anything. They haven't changed much. I probably won't do much treble board except the stuff that unlocked Miss Mouse and the Merlin things and all that. But it'll be cool. Anyways, that's what's popping up soon. That'll be Unicorn Overlord. Till then, Unicorn Overlord's gonna take like probably another 2 weeks or something, but we'll see. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Not more, probably. Unless like I said, I do get really distracted. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for chit-chatting about it. Makes me want to go watch a little bit more